Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching 3i U3 event. It's a unique 6 by 12 AI event, and we've got the 10th speaker of the day. He is Saurabh Agarwal, Senior Vice President at Lenskart. And Saurabh would be talking about building roadmap to AI first organization. Before he does that, let me introduce Saurabh. Saurabh is Senior Vice President at Analytics at Lenskart, and he has held various leadership positions with American Express, Tata Group, Motherson Group, and he's been more focused around product, tech, and AI. A wonderful speaker. Over to you, Saurabh.
Welcome to the U3 event. I have been working in the field of AI and analytics for about 10, 15 years now. And today in this topic, I will share my experience how one can look about building AI first enterprises. Over the past 2 decades of my work experience, I have worked in multiple companies at different nature. One in a big financial services company where the company was very driven through using analytics at the core. Then in one of the most prestigious conglomerate in India, where it was trying to adopt analytics over a period of 2 centuries. And the third in my stint in the current one is in the startup called Lenskart, where we have been trying to use analytics at the core. So this session of mine is more about sharing my experience on what are the different things one could look at building an AI first enterprise. If we look at the enterprises, how they have evolved over the period, there have been enterprises which have started in the industrial age, where they adopted the first bit of automation using in the early 40s and 50s, where a lot of manufacturing got started up with steel industries and automobile industries coming up. Then in the late 70s and 80s, the age of today's known IT started, where companies adopted ERP and core start of the digitization happened. Then the third wave happened of going on to the digitization and the internet era, where companies adopted use of e-commerce and internet-based selling and socializing their products and services. Now, what I'm very much excited about is the age of AI, where companies will be looking at building AI at the core. Now, these are all not mutually exclusive. These are all have graduated from one era to another era. But the key difference has been is the degree of use of data. When during the industrial age, the use of data was very minuscule because the amount of information captured and organized was very limited. With the IT age coming in, systems started recording data in the core IT systems and put into use. And with the digitization and internet coming in, what the massive thing happened is with the use of internet, where the customer's intent was captured and the so-called big data started in. With use of algorithms, machine learning, and powerful data, all of these things started to put to use. Now, today it's a great opportunity for people in the field of analytics to drive the analytics charter. But a lot of people have also failed in driving the charter because of the over expectations coming in from the management to transform. So, in my whole experience working with these different types of companies, I have kind of listed down 3 or 4 key areas which one should look at while driving the analytics and AI charter and helping the companies become an AI first. The first key thing to build an AI first enterprise is to have a strong data strategy before thinking about having a strong AI strategy. What I mean to say is capturing data at all touch points of the value system. If you are building a car, how do you capture information about your customers? How do you capture the information about how you build the product from scratch till the end? So that from the whole supply chain and all, you're capturing the data across. Uh, a big example is Google's mission statement. If we see, they don't talk about AI as their mission statement, but they talk about making the data accessible in an easy and effective manner to the customers. The second is a building a culture of measurement across all. While the the bigger objective for every enterprise is to have drive profitable growth for the investors, measuring the input KPIs and output KPIs as a factor, and then linking it from revenue uh, to customer intent to the supply chain and all the things is a key thing. So using a input and output KPI framework is a key thing, and very well defined framework can be used in an OKR framework, which is very popular with the startups. And then the third thing, which I feel is having AI at the core of the products and services. While AI as an enterprise gets adopted to optimize and improve the processes, building AI at the core of the product and services is a very key thing. Now, what I mean by that is today maps, if you look at Google, earlier we used to use iShare Maps, which was a book of maps and go to websites to know. But what Google did is Google added the intelligence of knowing the routing and how much time does it take to go from point A to point B with the use of algorithms. So they made the maps much more intelligent. In our case, in when I'm at Lenskart, what we have done is we have used a strong augmented reality to know the face size, because face size is a big problem uh, to know in the virtual in the online world. So use of AI in the core of the product and services makes your product stand out of the competition and gives you a much stronger edge. The other example I can think of is the use of recommendation systems by Amazon. While these three things, having a strong data strategy, having a strong culture of measurement, and the third is building AI at the core of product strategy, helps you make the company AI first. But the most important thing is how to manage the expectations of management. And that's where it's a very key thing while we are setting up the enterprise strategy, is to make sure that you play for the long rather than for the short. And also try to get small wins every day and have tolerance for failures. So having a strong mindset of failures and experimentation helps drive the culture and helps take off. So that is what, in a summary, I would say building a strong AI first culture requires three very fundamental things, which I've learned through my little experience, and hope you find it useful. Wishing you a lot of success in this thing, and hope you enjoy all the sessions in the U3 seminar. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Saurabh Agrawal from Lenskart talking about building roadmap for AI first organization. One of the things he alluded was all about this cultural alignment, the changes, doing small experimentations and having a lot of resilience to see the result. But one of the things which stands out, and this is by experience, and I've worked with also several clients across different industries in AI analytics. I think what is required AI first approach is not serendipity, it's a strategy. And sometimes, under the garb or the disguise of POCs or some of these quick kind of interventions, we lose the larger sight. And this is what organizations are trying to do. And that's exactly what Saurabh Agarwal was trying to allude in terms of building a roadmap for AI first organization.